What's crack-a-lackin', everybody? It's Drew to Smash back at you with another episode of Buff's Dynasty. Thanks for joining me today on the YouTube. Real quick, my apologies for the lack of uploads lately. Life's been a little hectic, but yeah, with that, I will still be bringing you guys content as much as possible. So my fans are always my first priority. All right. Well, with that, we're here in week 5 again, season 4. So far, the team 3-1, ranked 10th in the country, and we have a bye week this week. And you guys know what a bye week means. It's circling the country and talking about recruiting. So with that, everything's going to be shown on screen today. So real quick, again, year 4, I should say, of Buffs Dynasty, making it happen. 37-10 career record so far. Good, fairly good. But yeah, let's look at the top 25. I know we've shown this a little bit more frequently, but we got Oregon 1, Ohio State 2, Michigan, Georgia, Penn State, Syracuse, Alabama, Stanford, North Carolina, and then Colorado, followed by Texas A&M, along Texas, Notre Dame, Louisville, North Texas, Wisconsin, TCU, NC State, Florida, Oklahoma, USC, Utah, East Carolina, and Arkansas, and then K-State will round out the top 25. With that, as far as kind of some big losses, so let's look at Texas A&M here. They lost to USC. Notre Dame lost to Texas. Wisconsin fell to Michigan. TCU fell to OU. Florida with 2 losses. You got them losing to Georgia Southern, which was a game we talked about. And then they also lost to North Texas. The North Texas Mean Green making some moves apparently. Texas or Oklahoma lost to Georgia. USC lost to Utah. Utah then lost to BYU. East Carolina's lost to NC State and North Carolina. Arkansas has lost to TCU and Florida. So kind of chaotic of what's been going on week in and week out, and it's been very unpredictable to say the least. I will say, kind of the predictable part is the Big Ten dominating, the top 5 rankings here with 3 teams there: Penn State, Michigan, as well as Ohio State. Us, Oregon, and Stanford represent the Pac-12 here in the top 10. And then you got Alabama and Georgia representing the SEC, Syracuse and North Carolina, the ACC. Syracuse has been a very big, surprising team in this dynasty, but they are building quite the program there. But with that, as far as our individual conference goes, currently we're 1-1 in conference with our loss that we had to number 1 Oregon. Then you got Utah, USC, all right there, and then the other 3 teams, Arizona State, and UCLA, still kind of working through, kind of starting their conference schedule. Minus UCLA, they're not off to the greatest start. Looking at the North, you got Oregon State, Stanford, and Oregon. It's going to look to be a heavy battle between those 3. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the course of the season. As we get into the Heisman watch, so far this season, Tyrone Moses, number 1 in the Heisman. I would say that game against UCLA last week very much catapulted him towards the top of that list. You got Devin Brown from Ohio State, Jordan James from Utah, Jalen Glover from Utah, and then Jabrian Payne from Notre Dame. So it'll be interesting, to say the least. 2 quarterbacks, 3 running backs here at the atop the Heisman rankings so far. Going back, players of the week. So in week 1, you had Marvin Jones Jr. and Sam Vidlak. You had Jaden Wheeler and Henry Belin the fourth. As your week 2, week 3, Johnny Robinson and Khalil Anderson. Week 4, Miller Moss, Jeremiah Alexander. And then if we get into the Pac-12, we had Drew Carter Week 1 for the Buffs. Uh, week 2, Week 3, and Week 4. It's been, again, interesting start to the season, especially for Colorado. But with that, we'll do a quick kind of season stats look here. Um, Quarterback, our biggest one right here. So as you can see, we have Drew Carter, who's thrown for 616 yards, 8 touchdowns, no picks. Been very effective when he's been on the field. Then we look at Tyrone Moses, over 1,000, 8 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Again, not the ideal start to his season, but hopefully we can continually turn it around. Trey House, 41 carries for 160. Tyrone Moses, 25 carries for 104. 3 and 2 touchdowns for those two respectively. Got some more work to do, but continuing to improve there. Cole Dawson off to a hot start. 21 catches for 502, 6 touchdowns. Then you get Jeff Kelly and Eric Olson, and then Grant Page been a huge contributor this season, more so than any other as a deep threat. So got to keep feeding them the ball as far as the O-line's concerned. Beck's only allowed 1 sack. Same thing with Travis Tolbert. Curtis Breedlove has allowed 1, and then you get into the other ones. Alex Harkey has allowed the most amount of sacks for the team. As far as tackles go, Morris Newell, coming off his redshirt season, leading team in tackles, has 1 for loss. Then you get Aubrey Smith following second, with Jeff Mullins, the true freshman, leading third there in tackles. As far as tackles for loss, Travis Nichols leading the team, with Mike Miller and J.J. McDonald right behind him. Mike Miller leading the team in sacks. Again, J.J. right behind him there. As far as interceptions go, we've had 3, 1 from Newell, 1 for Williams, and 1 for Joe Robinson. As far as fumbles, we haven't forced anything there. So still some stuff to work on from a defensive perspective, but overall, defense been fairly good for us. So with that, let's jump into recruiting. We got 35 on the board, so let's dive into it. So we got Bob Jolly, 6'6", 203-pound quarterback from Fayetteville, West Virginia, 3-star, very much a pocket passer, but could be great depth for us long term. Then we get to Antoine Brooks, a 5'11", 182 wide receiver from Boca del Mar, Florida. Good speed, good catching. Not an explosive athlete, but just very much captain reliable and can get open in the passing game. So we are looking at him. Next, we get to Lance Parker, 6'2", 230 pounds from Lombard, Illinois, 4-star, number 14th athlete in the country. Guy very much a quarterback. Good speed for a quarterback, great throw power, good accuracy. Can definitely do a bit of everything. So, we might be looking at him at quarterback. Not 100% sure what we'll be doing. Quarterback is a position that we do have really good depth at right now. So with that, we just got to kind of look at what we're doing. Next, we get to Pat Harris, 6'5", 305, D tackle, 3-star out of Little Rock, Arkansas. This guy's a beast, 6'5", 303, good strength coming out of the high school ranks. He's got good moves and can shed blocks. Going to be that space eater in the middle that we need to continue to build that position. With Matt Miller getting closer towards the end of his career. So Pat Harris, great depth for next year, but also a potential centerpiece for our defense. Next, we get into David Williams, 6'4", 225 out of Black Forest, Colorado, 4-star athlete. Really good speed, good acceleration and agility. Very much kind of a wide receiver and or gonna look to be possibly a running back / tight end possibly also. just based on what he's got. I wouldn't say running back as much, more so a tight end wide receiver build, in my personal opinion. But yeah, definitely a really good athlete that's going to add either something to the outside or be a very dangerous in the middle of the field with that speed. Next, we get to Jared Lawrence, 6'1", 187, 44th ranked athlete, 4-star out of York, Nebraska. Great speed, really good in man coverage as well as zone coverage. Looking to be a corner most likely. Does have good elusiveness, can do some things with the ball in his hands. Wouldn't necessarily say quarter or wide receiver, I should say, but definitely going to be a really good player for us long term wise. And, I think he would fit in pretty well with our defensive backs that we've been building. Next, we move to Spencer Black, 6', 216 out of Centerville, Iowa, 4-star athlete. Again, great speed, very good at press coverage. Press man to man is his kind of thing. Great recognition, really good tackler. He'll come up, stick you. Also does some good things with the ball in his hands from a running back perspective, which could be something we look at for Spencer Black. And we're currently in the lead for him. Next, we move to Lee Bailey, 5-star, number 2 ranked athlete in the class out of Cooper City, Florida. Again, really good athlete. Does have some coverage ability skills. Looks really good there. As well as does have the ability to play quarterback and is very elusive there. Could be something we also look at for him is we're going to have some options as far as where we look to put Lee Bailey. So that way he can make a huge impact for this team as a 5-star. Next, we get to Jonathan Oliver, who we're battling North Carolina for. 6'1", 210, 5-star athlete out of Hillcrest Heights, Maryland. And again, quarterback build through and through. Can do some things catching and running wise. Kind of that offensive skill player that could be great for us. So with that, again, we got a huge battle. We got our visit set with them for week 6, which again, I talked about that huge week 6 kind of visit date for recruits. He's one of the guys that will be on campus. So again, just got to keep trucking along. We got Dustin Porter, tight end. Again, continuing to look to build our tight end position. I love using tight ends in a variety of ways. But with Dustin Porter, great speed, great catching, little undersized for what I traditionally like at the position, but overall does a lot of great things. So with that, give me 1 sec, I'll be right back. Alright, sorry about that, guys. Had a little technical difficulties there with my PC, but so yeah, like I was saying, Dustin Porter, a little undersized for what I traditionally like, but the skills are undeniable, so definitely could be a great player for us. Next, we move to Jay Clark, 6'2", 183-pound wide receiver out of Holiday, Florida. Again, really good athlete, good catching, great at running his routes. A little bit more of a burner and does have the size and speed to make some big plays offensively for us, and bringing him in would be a huge get for us in that room as we continue to look at life after Cole Dawson and Page, most notably. So next we move to Rich Carter, 6'4", 315-pound tackle out of Chaparral, New Mexico. Overall, just a really solid tackle. Good feet, good athleticism, and good strength. So with that, definitely could use him. He does have the size and flexibility to play a variety of positions along our offensive line, but overall, very just kind of overall solid player for us. Next, we get to Calvin Gilry, who we're battling a lot of schools for. 6th ranked guard in the class from New York, 4-star player. Great pass blocker, an average run blocker, but overall great strength. Will be able to move some people and be able to continually help build our offensive line group as a whole. May transition to center just based on his size, but overall, still looking to be a really good player for us. Next, we move to Sam Chase, 6'3", 286, three-star guard out of University Heights, Virginia. Gem player. Great strength, great run and pass block. Can step in and be an immediate impact offensive lineman for us. Overall, really happy with the fact that one, we found this guy, and secondarily, that hopefully we're getting close to closing the door on him coming to Colorado. Next, we move to Willie Jordan, 6'3", 294 from Lisle, Illinois, 11th ranked guard, 4-star. Again, great strength, much more so a run blocker than a pass blocker. Definitely a lot of value that we could get from having him. Then we get to Paris Hall, 6'4", 305, 4th ranked center out of Sherman, Texas. Again, just overall solid O lineman. Got that week 6 visit penciled in, and we're looking forward to having him on campus. Then we get to Todd Davis, 6'4", 247, 6th ranked defensive end out of Alice, Texas. Again, really good athlete, great finesse moves, very quick and agile, and can get off blocks and make plays in whatever fashion, but most notably he's going to get after the passer. So would love to bring him in, pair him with our young and up and coming defensive ends, and add him to our rotation. We're in a big battle with North Carolina right now, though, to secure his services. So then we get to PJ Calhoun from Brandon, South Dakota, 4th ranked free safety in the class, 92 speed. Not great and necessarily in coverage. It's something he wants to work on, but the overall athletic profile for PJ is fantastic, which is why we are recruiting him as heavily as we are. Looking to bring him in. Next, we get to Kyle Moss from DeLand, Florida, athlete, great speed, definitely good in the running game as well as passing game. Well, does profile more of a running back than a wide receiver, but does have some good pass catching upside for us. So again, looking forward to getting him on campus here shortly. But yeah, looking really good and hoping to bring him in. Then we get to Heath Nelson, 6'2", 197 out of Fountain Valley, California, 4-star. 95 speed, straight burner, great route runner. Not great at catching the ball, but if that's something that we can develop with him, can be a really huge impact player at the wide receiver position for us. And that's something that we just need to continually try and douse with speed, especially in our conference. The Pac-12, speed is king. So if we can bring him in and pluck him one out of the state of California, again, goes a long way for us. Lastly, we get to Andre Davis, 4-star athlete out of Winter Springs, Florida. Again, burner. This guy is more so going to be in our secondary, based on his coverage skills and the way he likes to play the ball. So again, more depth in the corner room. He is somebody that does have a lot of development to do, and as we look to build out the depth of that room, he definitely will go a long way in helping us do that. So lastly, we're just going to kind of scroll through here. Not sure if, yeah, none of these guys are kind of scouted, but these are just some other guys that we have on the board that we're trying to gauge some interest in, and see what we can possibly look to do, if anything, to build out our recruiting class and make it as well rounded as possible. So but yeah, with that, that's kind of where we're at recruiting wise, my kind of overall thoughts on where we're at. In general, I feel we're in a great spot. We're in on a lot of very good players that can come in and help impact this team very quickly, and help build us up to make us more of a powerhouse football team. As you watch the games, you see that we have some struggles on the O-line, which we're looking to address, as well as just overall depth of our roster. We definitely need to continually always be addressing that, so that way not only we can keep guys fresh throughout the course of a game, but it just adds different playmakers to the program that it's going to help us for long-term sustainable success to be able to build out that depth properly and with young guys. And one guy leaves for the draft, another one steps up in his place with no issues whatsoever. So but with that, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, and with that, we'll see you in week 6. Huge recruiting weekend for us as we take on the Stanford Cardinal, the 8th ranked team in the country. And with that, I hope you all have a blessed day, and we'll see you in the next one. Drew the Smash signing off.